Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It is my pleasure to introduce everyone to Dennis Mathew, our new CEO, who joins us on his first day in office. So Dennis, welcome.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Excellent. We're thrilled to have you. So how does it feel, day one?
You know, there's so many emotions right now. And one, I am just humbled and honored to be able to be a leader in this amazing organization. Really, I mean, I am so appreciative to Patrick and Dexter for this opportunity. So that's one. And then I come in with like a level of excitement because I have had the opportunity to meet many people along this journey. And just the energy, the enthusiasm, the passion, the entrepreneurial spirit just excites me. And so I'm just so excited for the future and where we're headed.
Excellent. Well, we're thrilled to have you.
Yeah.
So building a family environment is something that's very important here in our culture,
Yes.
and we learn a lot about each other, right? At what
Yes.
makes us unique. So it would be really interesting to hear a little bit about your personal background
Yes.
and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, I'd love to share. You know, family is so important to me. My parents are from India, from a state called Kerala. They came to Boston. My dad was finishing up school, and so the first 10 years of my life, I was born in Boston. That's where first 10 years of my life was. And I guess they got tired of clam chowder and lobster and wanted to move down to Philly. So I spent the early part of my life in Philly. I grew up in Philly, Northeast Philly. I went to Philadelphia Public School, and I've got two younger brothers. And, my dad just taught me so much. He was a hard-working SOB. He taught me how to work hard and make an impact, and that's what I've taken into my life. You know, he worked for SEPTA, the Transit Authority, night shift, but then he was also a minister, and he was also very passionate about helping those around him and bringing people along, and so that's a passion of mine. I have a wife and two girls. We lived in Bucks County most recently. We're, finding a place in Long Island City. My daughters are Emily and Michaela, 14 and 12, and my wife is Elizabeth.
Excellent. And you have a puppy. Well, it's another child, right?
So when we last moved, my oldest daughter put together a PowerPoint presentation to justify why we should get a dog. So I said, sure, we can get a dog, but why don't we start with a small dog? And then she did the research and convinced us to get a German Shepherd, which in January was 11 pounds and now is 75. So he is keeping us busy.
Well, clearly she's a smart girl with PowerPoint skills.
Yes.
We may have to tap into that here.
Yes, exactly. Very good.
Good. So then you ended up at Comcast and in cable. So how did that happen?
So I graduated from Penn. I was looking at different industries, consulting, banking, things like that. I decided to go into consulting at Arthur Andersen. I thought I was going to be there for a long time, but we know that there were some challenges there. And the year I was getting married in 2002, we had to make a change. I ended up going to PricewaterhouseCoopers. And within a few weeks, they said, hey, there's a special project at Comcast. We want you to go there for 2 weeks to help them stand up information security internal audit program. And so then 2 weeks became 18 months of consulting, and then I joined full-time in 2005. And I stood up that organization, and from there I moved into the business unit where I had a chance to launch new products, new services, new businesses, our home security, home automation business, where it was an amazing experience working on the first business model, PowerPoint, doing a pilot and a trial, and then growing that to over 1 million customers. I held a whole host of different roles, everything from operations to product management to program management. And then I moved into the field. I was running our Western New England region, which was Vermont, Connecticut, a little bit of New Hampshire, Western Mass. And then I moved back south, and I was managing what's called the Freedom region, which is New Jersey, greater southeastern Pennsylvania, and Delaware.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you spent 17 and a half years. That's a long time
Yes.
in one place.
A lot of emotion. I mean, as I was thinking through kind of the next season of my career, I thought, again, I was going to be there. But then, as the conversations evolved, it was clear to me that this was an incredibly exciting opportunity.
So, nearly 2 decades there, I am sure there are hundreds of accomplishments that you could point to and
Yes.
teams. Anything that stands out over the years that you would want to share with the group?
There's so many business accomplishments, growing Xfinity Home to a million customers, the cash flow it was delivering to the business, all wonderful. But the thing that I'm most proud of is the incredible impact we were able to have on our teammates and employees. So I truly believe employee engagement is the number one foundation to having a strong business. And so in Western New England, for example, we were able to take our employee engagement scores to all-time highs, even throughout COVID, and we were leading the country. And for me, employee engagement isn't just words, it's a whole strategy and plan, which includes how do we recognize and appreciate our teammates and celebrate the wins every day, big and small, right? How do we help our teammates grow in their careers and continue to advance, whether it's at any level? You're talking about, frontline teammates, professional teammates, folks that want to just continue to have a robust career. And then communication. I'm super passionate about making sure we explain what are we doing and why, but then also being able to hear from our teammates. And so with that plan, we were able to take the engagement scores to all-time highs, and then we were able, then I transitioned to Freedom, and we were able to take the engagement scores to all-time highs again, and we had the highest year-over-year improvement. And so employee engagement is super passionate. And then customer experience, and really having a culture where every transaction matters, every interaction matters, right? It's a street fight right now. Yeah. The competition is at an all-time high. And so we've got to make every moment that we have an interaction with the customer matter. And so that was, again, a journey that we were on. And in Freedom Region, my last job, we were number one in the country of 15 regions for 8 months in a row. And so I'm incredibly proud of that because, I lived those days, right? Like I live in Philly. I'm proud of where I live, but then like every time I showed up somewhere, it was this issue, that issue, blah, blah, blah. And I owned it. I was gonna make sure every issue that came to me was solved. And over the last couple of years, it's been nice to say, hey, you all are doing okay. I haven't had to have as many calls or interactions or any calls. And so I'd love to partner with this incredible organization to share some of the lessons learned so we can all be on that journey.
So then it must have been a very difficult decision to leave, right? Why? Right? Why Altice?
Well, one, as I mentioned, the entrepreneurial spirit in this company is infectious to me because I am an entrepreneur, as I mentioned, in terms of launching new products, launching new businesses. And so that was appealing, and the ability to have the resources of a large company and a large portfolio of companies, right, worldwide. And the fact that from what I took away, we're not afraid to take chances, to take risks, to do things, to test and trial. And it's okay to fail, but let's pick ourselves up and try again. And, it was getting hard to do that where I was. And so that's all fine. Every organization's indifferent, but I want more of that. I want to be in it to win it. I'm really excited about the fiber strategy. I really think that's the future. That's where we have to go. And to see the investments that are being made, we're gonna have the best network. Best network, drop the mic, period, done, right? And then we gotta wrap it with the right go-to-market strategy and the right culture in terms of employee engagement and customer engagement.
Excellent. So there's a lot to do,
yes.
Right? What are you gonna do first?
Well, I'm in the mode of listening, learning, processing, understanding. And so I'm spending a bunch of time with my directs and their teams. So that's like one part of this. And then I'm going to be visiting all of our teammates. I'm going to be coming out to the stores. I'm going to be going to the fulfillment centers. I'm going to be in the call centers. And I need to gather and listen and process and understand how I and our leadership team can come alongside our teammates and remove the friction, remove the noise, remove the hurdles so that we can go faster, so that we can be at our best. And so that's not going to happen overnight, but over the next few months, and it's going to happen quickly. And so I'm excited to jump in and to listen, to learn, to process, and we're going to communicate. And we're going to get feedback, and there's going to be, when I show up, I'm sure there's going to be lots of feedback, and we're going to say, hey, here are the 5 things we're going to do right now. Here are the other 7 that are going to take some time. And here are the things that maybe we're just not going to get to, and here's why. But we're going to be systematic so that the feedback comes in, and we are thoughtful about how do we then drive the feedback and communication.
So folks clearly want to learn a lot about you, right, as a
Yeah.
business professional and also as a human being. Business philosophies, right, as you've navigated through your career. Anything in particular that is important to you on the business front?
I mean, on the business front, you're going to hear me talk a lot about some of the things we already discussed. Employee engagement, I believe, is foundational to having a healthy business. Customer experience, foundational to be in the game. And so the right tools, the right processes, all of that. And then what we haven't talked about is our go-to-market strategy, right? How do we market? How do we sell? And I really do think that we have an opportunity to be different by being hyper-local. We have teammates in the markets. We have a presence there. And so I really want to understand, what does that look like today, and how do we evolve that going forward? When I was in Western New England, it was very clear to me that Vermont was very different than Connecticut, which was very different than New Hampshire, for example. And then in Freedom, the city of Philly was very different than the Shore, which was very different than the suburbs. And so I imagine that's a little bit of what's happening here as we serve our customers. And so spending that time to listen, to understand, and then evolve our strategies so that we can communicate our incredible products and services most effectively to our customers. And so being hyper-local is important, but then at the same time being able to take advantages of the efficiencies. And so it's a balance. And that's what we're going to that's what I'm going to listen and learn and understand. How do we drive that?
So a lot of that comes also with leadership empowerment,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What do you find incredibly valuable in a leader? What do you expect from leaders?
So I got to tell you, leadership has evolved so much since my time. There was a time when I remember leadership was just very hierarchical, top down. You do what I say, and that's it. And that's horrible. That's lazy leadership. It's horrible leadership. It's not sustainable. It's not scalable. And so I have had to become a student of leadership. And I don't know if Comcast was trying to tell me something, but they've sent me to like every leadership training on the planet, like between NAMIC and internal trainings and all kinds of trainings. And it's actually been very helpful, because I've learned that to be a leader, you have to have a level of emotional intelligence. Being able to control our own emotions, being able to understand our teammates' emotions, being able to understand, hey, how do people want to be recognized? How do they want to be appreciated? How do we motivate each other? Empathy, like that wasn't even a word that you would use to describe a leader. But I believe that has to be an element of leadership. And so I have this whole, I can't wait to talk to my leaders more, because I do believe that we have to study together. What does it mean to lead? How do we lead from the front? Servant leadership is really the model that I ascribe to, and what I hope that we can all ascribe to in terms of being able to drive the business forward. It's not only about leading between 9 to 5. What I've found is that we have to care for the whole person, and we have to make sure that emotionally, physically, that everybody is cared for. Simon Sinek has this amazing saying, which is so simple but just resonates. He says, hey, people generally, they want to wake up feeling excited and motivated. They want to feel when they come to work, when they want to feel physically and emotionally safe during the day. and then they want to feel fulfilled at the end of it. I mean, that's it. That's what I want. That's literally what I want, right? And so I need my leadership team to create a culture, and then we need to create that culture. And then that goes back to all those elements of recognition and appreciation and communication and supporting our teammates in their career growth. And so that's a whole philosophy, but if we take that as the goal, then we can build a strategy around that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump topics here to something I know is very dear to your heart,
Yes.
and that's giving back.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about Bloom India. You founded this nonprofit.
Yes.
You've spent a lot of your personal time
Yes.
giving back to the communities. Would love to hear a bit more about that.
Yeah, we began this work 12 plus years ago. One of our good friends brought this issue of human trafficking to us and was sharing, just some of the challenges and issues. And so I said, hey, I can't go to India, but we can get involved. And so we started to raise funds to support programs in the anti-human trafficking space, everything from orphanages to support children, to food distribution, to rehabilitation, to rescue, all of that. We then started schools for the children that we were rescuing, and we found that education really is the answer to be able to change the trajectory of their lives, their families' lives. And so Bloom India's mission now is to provide high-quality education to underprivileged communities so that we get ahead of this issue of human trafficking, and we provide these communities with options and a future. And so we now have 2,000 plus students, schools throughout India, and our goal is to grow that by 10x over the next few years, and it's something we're very passionate about. I'm also passionate about making an impact locally. And so, in my old role, we were very focused on digital equity, we're very focused on food insecurity, very focused on supporting education in the school districts. And so I'm excited to be here to learn more about the communities that we serve and how I can get involved and how I can come alongside this organization.
Well, your professional and personal career is fascinating, right? Is there anyone who helped shape that for you, who's guided you along the way?
Yeah, it really was my father. As I mentioned, I didn't mention this. He passed away in 17, 5-year battle with cancer, very challenging. But one thing he told me was there's no problem too big. I mean, this guy was he was an electrical engineer by trade, but he was doing plumbing. We were ripping out a transmission from the car. We were changing the engine. We were tarring the roof. By the way, I hated all of it at the time. But I was like, what the hell are we doing? And he just has this book open and he's just doing it. He's 60 years old, 65. I came to the house and he's on the house, fixing the roof. And so there was no problem too big. No problem, too complicated. We're gonna solve that. And then at the same time, it was just, hey, we got to bring everybody along. We got to help, hey, we're blessed, so how do we bless others? And so we were bringing family here to the U.S. We're helping the community. And, you got to get older to really understand, what does all this mean? And it's really, shaped my life. And as he was passing, I had a chance to, have a moment with him as that was happening, and he said, live your life to make an impact. That was it. He said, live, and then he went on. And so he's had an impact, and so for me, coaching, mentoring, how do we bring people along? How do we help? Iron sharpens iron, and so he taught me that by living that life.
Well, we're thrilled you can bring that here
Yes.
too.
Thank you.
So we have a lot of fun
Yes.
here at Altice USA. So
Nice.
I'm going to throw out a couple of questions at you.
Yes.
I want quick answers. All right?
Okay.
Ready? Favorite sports team?
Hopefully nobody throws anything at me, but Sixers.
All
I'm a
right. And
big.
you're a Philly guy.
Yeah, I'm a Philly guy. I love basketball. Yeah, Sixers.
All right. Favorite TV show?
I love like cooking shows, and so I watch Chopped, I watch Bobby Flay, I loved Anthony Bourdain, like I love all the food, travel, cooking stuff.
All right, favorite meal then?
Oh, I love, authentic Asian. So there's a place in Philly called Han Dynasty that has this like spicy, authentic, Chinese. It's like amazing. You'll be sweating, maybe crying. My body can't handle it, but I love it.
Favorite hobby?
I love, so I'm into fitness, so I'm like big into Peloton now. So I do that, 4 days a week, and it's like 30 minutes. I get a workout in, and it's just something to clear my head.
Favorite thing to do with family?
Oh, we love to travel and eat. We love it. We were up here last week. We were just eating our way through New York and made it up to Long Island City. We love to go visit, explore, and eat. That's what we love to do.
All right, last question.
Yeah.
DOCSIS or fiber?
Oh, fiber all the way. We're going to crush it.
There
We
we
will
go.
crush it with fiber. It's going to be amazing.
Awesome. All right, so in closing, right,
Yes.
this is the first of what I think is going to be many times you talk to the organization.
Yeah.
Any last words?
I'm excited. I'm going to bring the energy. You all bring the energy, and we're going to crush it together. That's it. That's what this story is going to be about. And you have my commitment to do whatever I can to help us move this organization forward. And so my door is open. I mean, literally, Dennis@AltisUSA.com. Email is set up. I'm sure you can find my phone number because I don't remember it. You know where I am in Long Island City. I'm in on the 49th floor in the office. You will find me. I want to hear from you, and we're gonna do great things.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you to the Optimum Retail Store team for having us today.
Yes.
And we look forward to hearing more.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.